Alright guys, thought I would make a pedalboard demo for you guys. Kind of bored, and this seemed like an interesting thing to talk about. My pedalboard changes a lot, but this pedalboard I'm really happy with, and I can't say that I want to change anything at all. I use this pedalboard for a lot of the gigs that I get hired for. And as most of you know, I do a lot of modern country, so I need to have a lot of different sounds at my disposal with a very simple setup. Because when you play for a band in a city, you can't have like a trailer where you pull up and you unload a half stack and all that kind of stuff. I need usually a 112 combo and this pedalboard and two guitars, and that's all I can really take. It's all I have the room for, especially when we go out of town. So this pedalboard specifically gives me a lot of flexibility without weighing a lot, without being too big that I can't transport it easily. Doing all these demos. I'm doing this demo with my parts caster. Just built out of stuff. Kind of modeled after a 60s style telly. And then just into an orange Micro Terror, which is a cool, fun little amp to mess with. So we'll start with the first thing that I hit, which is my Polytune Mini. It's small, it tunes my guitar accurately, it takes up no space, and those are all things that I love. So that works perfectly for my purposes. And we go up to my phaser, which is the T-Rex Tone Bug phaser. Really affordable phaser, pretty easy to get your hands on, and it's got rate and depth control and a vintage and modern switch. And I usually leave it on vintage, and I kind of tweak with it, but usually it stays on like a real slow kind of chewy kind of phaser, like your typical classic country. That kind of thing, nothing really nothing crazy. And then I can stack it with an overdrive to get, your kind of fixed wah or your kind of faux wah kind of sounds when you want to overdrive lead or something like that. Next I hit my Keeley compressor. I'm sure everyone knows what this guy is. It's a killer pedal. It's one of my favorites. I've had a lot of people try to convince me to use compressors from other companies, and this is just the guy that I love. You can just tweak it any way you want, and I can dial it in specifically for each guitar that I might plug into it just by turning that clipping knob. And it's not a huge pedal, which is not a big deal with a pedal that I rely on heavily like that. Next up is the ISP Decimator, which is a rather large pedal for something that I leave on all the time, and it is a very simple kind of thing that I may or may not need. But I just like it because it's super clean. It doesn't change my guitar sound, and it keeps all that noise that might come from a bar with bad wiring or lights or something like that. It keeps that out of my sound on stage. The next up is my Exotic AC Booster. This is a really great overdrive that I use for kind of like a tube screamer, typical chicken picking lead kind of sound. So, it's like one bump up in gain from clean. That'd be my clean sound, and then that's the AC booster. It also, I leave the gain pretty low so I can use it for that kind of sound, but it's got a great gain sweep that you can use for a lot of different stuff. Next up is the BB preamp, which is my next step up in gain, which is kind of like a crunchy rhythm sound, or it always makes me think of like AC/DC. It's got that kind of sound, where everything stays really clear and you can hear all the chords. It's not actually super distorted or overdriven, but it is crunchy. And after that, I have my Full Tone OCD, which I think is one of the most garbage talked overdrives on the market. Everybody likes to say what they will about this pedal, but it's really flexible and useful, and it sounds like an amp's overdrive channel, and it doesn't change my guitar sound. When I play a Telly through it, sounds like a Telly. When I play a Strat through it, sounds like a Strat. When I play my Explorer through it, it sounds like my Explorer should. it's just a great overdrive for multi-purpose kind of sounds. And that's like my, liquid. It makes me think of like a low gain Marshall kind of sound, and that's what I use it for. And then I'll stack any of these three together depending on the sound I'm after, whether I need a boosted OCD or a boosted BB, or really crazy haywire feedback kind of overdrive. I'll stack the BB and the OCD together. It just depends on what I need. Next up's the EP booster, which is another small, effective pedal that I like a lot. The clean boost. It doesn't add anything too extra. It beefs up the signal a little bit and maybe adds a little bit of high end. But those are all really great things when you're trying to cut through a mix. And it's just a nudge up in volume. You can use it as a dirty boost if you want to throw it in front of a dirty amp. It'll take your amp to the next level in gain. It's pretty wild. It's got a lot of output. Then I've got Ernie Ball volume. Everyone knows what that does. Whale noises. And then the BBE2 timer, which is a great analog delay that I can go from slapback, which is what I have it set for now, that kind of, that kind of thing, or I can have, long delays just by hitting one switch. And then it's got a bypass. I can turn it off if I don't want it. Usually stays on slapback. And then the Nova delay from TC Electronics, which I use for all my rhythmic delays, all the, kind of ambient, wild mess, or like the kind of edge. Like a Brian May self-harmonized thing there. That kind of thing, the dotted eighth notes, or I've got a few settings that are just like stacked delays where I can do swells and things like that. That's what there is to it. I mean, it's as simple as I can get it and still cover all the ground that I need to cover. It is a Pedal Train PT1 board powered by a Voodoo Lab Pedal Power 2. It's a setup I've used forever, and I trust it with my life when it comes to gigging. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys.